Hey YouTube, it's your girl, Dr. J, the Midlife Writer, and today I'm going to talk to you not about having a travel abroad experience for you as a midlifer or anyone. This is more so about introducing you to an opportunity for your high schooler to travel abroad and to study abroad. And this is a program that two of my three children participated in, and it is specifically for United States citizens. So if you're not a U.S. citizen, this is probably not the video for you. But if you are a U.S. citizen and you have a teenager in your life, whether that's your child or grandchild or your that favorite uncle or auntie, this video is for you. And so the program that I'm going to talk to you about is it's known as the NSLI-Y program, and it is the National Security Language Initiative for Youth. And it is a program that is run by the U.S. Department of State, and the description says it's part of the U.S. government initiative to foster international cooperation by ensuring that Americans have the linguistic skills and cultural knowledge necessary to effectively communicate. So NSLI-Y is a overseas critical language study opportunity for American youth. It's merit-based, and the goal is to spark an interest in a critical language. So the languages that are available for American high schoolers to study is Arabic, Chinese, Mandarin, Hindi, Indonesian, Korean, Persian, Russian, and Turkish. And there is also a virtual program, but this is all about traveling abroad. So we're going to be talking about the in-person programs. And so the programs take place in Egypt, Estonia, India, Indonesia, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Korea, Latvia, Morocco, Taiwan, Tajikistan, and Turkey, as well as other locations around the world, and that's going to be as conditions allow. Okay, and so my oldest participated in the program a couple summers ago, and he actually went to Korea. He was the first person in our family to actually go to Korea, and he fell in love with Korea and learning the Korean language at the time, and that was really one of the reasons why we were comfortable with moving to South Korea, was because my son had such a good time in the NSLI-Y program. And then for this year, my daughter ended up doing the Chinese language program in Taiwan. And so she got to spend her summer in Taiwan. So what the NSLI program does, NSLI-Y program, they have two different in-person experiences. They have a summer experience where you spend between 6 and 8 weeks in a country, doing intensive language study for that country, or they have an academic year program, and that is where students will spend an entire academic year, so from about August until about May. And the program is open, like I had mentioned, the program is open to U.S. citizens, and I'm going to let you know the eligibility requirements. So the eligibility requirements is that they be a U.S. citizen at the time of the application, have a cumulative grade point average of 2.5 or higher on a 4.0 scale, be between the ages of 15 and 18 at the start of the program, be enrolled in grades 9 through 12, high school or homeschool equivalent at the time of the application, and not be in either of the two ineligibility categories. And so ineligibility categories are if you are a current or participant or previous participant in the exchange program. And so basically you can't take advantage of more than two programs in a calendar year. And if you are currently participating or have participated in academic year, then you can't add in a summer after that. However, if you do a summer, you can apply for academic year after that. but you can't do academic year and then add on the summer. The other is family member employment. So you can't have a family member who is an employee of the U.S. Department of State or U.S. Agency for International Development. You can't have a family member who is an employee of the you can't have like an immediate family. You can't be an employee, or you can't have a family member who is an immediate employee. And you can't have an immediate family member or be an employee of a private or public agency under contract or grant with the U.S. Department of State. And so those things are make you ineligible to participate, but that's probably most people don't fall into that category. And so when it comes to who they select for the program, preferences are going to be given to students who do not have access to critical language resources in their home community. If you live in the U.S. or U.S. territory that is state or a territory that is underrepresented by study abroad, if you identify with a community that is underrepresented in study abroad, or you will have not otherwise been able to study abroad. And that covers a lot of young people in the United States. Both of my children that participated studied abroad when they were 15 years old, and they were all finishing up their high school junior year, going into their senior year. And so, but there are students who go along that range. So there are 15-year-olds who are freshmen or sophomore, or there are rising seniors who are 17 or 18. So there's going to be a range of young people in the program. The program takes care of, it is a scholarship program, so they take care of your transportation from your home city or closest international airport to what they call the pre-departure orientation. That's going to be about 2 days in a U.S. city. Both of my kids did their pre-departure orientations in San Francisco, and sometimes it's in Washington, D.C., sometimes it's in New York, but my kids in San Francisco. And then it pays for your plane ticket from San Francisco to the country that you're going to be in, to the city that you're going to be doing your program in, and then it pays for your transportation back, of course, all the way back to your home location. It covers your visa. You will stay with the host family. My son stayed with a host family his entire time in the program. He was with one host family and then moved to another host family. My daughter did 2 weeks with a host family, and that's the way the program was designed for Taiwan, 2 weeks with a host family, and then the rest of the time was spent on campus at the university where they were doing their language programs. The way that the days went is generally the mornings are spent doing intensive language study, and when you go into the program, they give you a test to determine, are you a beginner, or are you an intermediate, or are you advanced, because they have specific language courses aside for each of those. So if you have a child and if they're going into Chinese language and they've got a couple years or so of Chinese language study already, they might go into intermediate or advanced, or they may be brand new to the language. My son, when he went in, he was pretty new to the Korean language. He had taken a couple courses, but he never had a course that he was in a classroom. His classes had been online. The same with my daughter for Chinese. She had some Chinese classes under her belt, but they were all online classes. And so they went into their respective programs. And then while they were there, they were able to take classes at their level. So if your child is okay with the language, they've spent some time studying it, and they want to learn more, they may go into intermediate or advanced, and they'll get class time based around their intermediate ability or their advanced ability. But it's okay if your child is brand new to the language as well. They also get a stipend, and that stipend will cover transportation. So a lot of times, if it's enough where if they need to take the train or subway from their host family home to the university, it's enough for them to cover, snacks and things like that, because their host family will provide their food for them when they're living with the host family, and then when they're at classes or at the university, then the program will provide food for them then. But if they want to buy some local snacks and things like that, the stipend covers that. And it also covers PPE. So if there is a place where they need to wear a mask, or if they get something like that, then those things will be covered. It The scholarship also covers your materials, so the books that you're going to be using for your pre-departure study as well as the study when you go there. So all books are included. So what you will be covering as a family, if your child is accepted into the program, you will be covering their passport, because your child needs an up-to-date passport. They need to have at least 6 months left on their passport for the date of their return. And so you will have to provide the passport for them. You will send them spending money, and then like little things like that. They also should have a gift for the host family. The gift should not be something really elaborate. It's something that will represent the space in which they are coming from, so the state in which they're coming from. And so those are the things that you will need to cover. So considering like for the summers for my kids, the fact that it covered plane ticket and them being in another country for 7 weeks was huge. It absolutely sparked their interest in and comfort in being abroad. Your child will grow and develop and mature so much by being in this country. They make sure that they have, like, oh, another thing that they have, they have a phone that has a SIM card for that country, so that they can communicate. The program can communicate with them. The program will communicate with you. They send out a newsletter every week, and if your child gets sick or if they have some specific needs, the program will contact you right away, so you can feel good about it. I know, because no one had really studied abroad in my family before. People in my family, especially when my son went first, because he was 15, they were like, are you really going to send your child? And my mother was like, are you sending my grandbaby all the way across the Pacific at 15 years old? No. But they were in good hands, because the State Department runs the program, so they were in very good hands. And my daughter went when she was 15 as well, and again, very good hands. The program is very safe. Your child does have to have common sense, right? They can't get kicked out for violating rules and all that kind of stuff. They will send them back to the U.S. if they violate the rules, but the vast 99% of the kids do fine, and there's no issues. But it really does help to spark a love of learning languages, exploring new cultures. It gives an opportunity to do something that's new. So if you have a passion for maybe living abroad one day, and you think your child might, this is a great opportunity to introduce your child to living abroad, studying abroad, introducing them to a new language, helping them, find their way into something that they want to do. I know for my son, he is in computer science, cybersecurity, but is picking up an international relations major, like based on a minor, like based on his experience of studying abroad, and really wanting to expand his horizons, and maybe even live abroad himself one day. My daughter, she is in her area is astrophysics, and she wanted to learn Chinese because of the Chinese space program, and wanting to make sure that she was ready to collaborate with whoever was doing similar science with her as she gets older, and gets into a PhD program and becomes a astrobiologist, which is what she wants to do. And so she knew, for her career, she really wanted to be fluent in Chinese, and this was really going to help kickstart that, because it was really hard to even consider gaining any level of fluency taking online classes for her. So opportunity to be dropped right into another country where Chinese was the spoken language, that really helped her study, and then also to have that intensive study in the classroom. So the way the classes work, the mornings, Monday through Friday, will be spent in that intensive language study, 4 to 5 hours of language study, along with some homework. But the afternoons are spent doing cultural experiences. When my son was in Korea, he was learning to play the salmonori, which is a traditional Korean instrument. Some people did I think it was like karate or taekwondo. Some people did other sort of cultural activities and stuff. And they had a big demonstration at the end of the program where people are demonstrated the things that they learned. They visited museums. They put on traditional Korean dress. They learned how to cook some Korean meals. And that has been my daughter's experience in Taiwan, learning about the Taiwanese culture, learning about the history, getting acclimated to the food, learning to cook the food, all of those sort of things. So it really does open their horizons, and it was really an opportunity that I could not have provided them education wise, and it's definitely not an experience they would have gotten in the United States. And the fact that it was a scholarship that was covered by the NSLI-Y program, so all we had to do was make sure that their passports were up to date, get them to the airport, give them spending money. That was a huge thing. So if you would really like to allow for your child to potentially have an international study abroad experience, and you think that they're ready to do it, the NSLI-Y program is definitely a program that you may want to consider. There is a link to the program, information about the program, in the description box below. But it is a program where we had stumbled upon it. I really hadn't heard of it before, but we ended up stumbling upon it when we were looking up some stuff for my son academically, and he applied and got it, and then my daughter applied and got it. And when we talked to a lot of other people, they had never heard of the program before, but it's a well-respected program. It's great on college applications, and so it's a wonderful opportunity. And just to cover the languages again, that you can study Arabic, Chinese, Mandarin, Hindi, Indonesian, Korean, Persian or Tajiki, Russian, and Turkish. And the countries where you can study are Egypt, Indonesia, Estonia, India, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Korea, Latvia, Morocco, Taiwan, Tajikistan, Turkey, as well as other locations as conditions allow. Because these are children that are going into these programs, so they're never going to send your child into a country that is experiencing any sort of instability at the time or is at war or anything like that. So they do adjust the program based on the current conditions of the various countries that they're going into. They know they're traveling with children. They put everything in place to make sure that the children are safe. They also get a very real experience. And it was something where my son is still in contact with his host family, particularly his second host family that he had while he was there. When he comes here to South Korea to visit us, or to come home, because this is our home right now. So he was here for his spring break from college, and he met with and visited his host mom while he was here. And so that's a big deal. Like, that's how strong that connection is. That is his connection. He, one of his friends, his good friends in the program, she ended up coming for 2 weeks, coming back to South Korea for 2 weeks and spending time and staying with her, the host family she had while she was in the program, while she was here. And another one of his friends ended up coming to college here in South Korea. And he actually visited them when he comes to visit, or when he comes back to South Korea. He visits with his friends who decided to come to college in South Korea. So it's definitely an opportunity for your child to experience another part of the world and to get to live abroad and study a language and find out what it's like to be immersed in another culture. And it is a scholarship program. So the cost to you is very, very cheap. You're just going to be making sure that your child has a passport and they're covered under your insurance, and that they have the necessities that they need, and having a small gift for the host family that they will spend time with. And everything else is going to be covered under the scholarship from the program. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can definitely leave those questions in the comments section below. I don't put my kids on the channel, but if people are interested, I can definitely ask them if they will be okay with coming on and doing a video. My son does have a YouTube channel, and on his YouTube channel, he does share his experiences. Like he was posting videos every week when he was in Korea under it as part of the NSLI-Y program, and then he has shared some videos of his trips back to South Korea um, for his spring break and some of the things that he did. And so if you're interested in that, I can get his permission to leave his channel in the comment section below, so you can kind of see like one kid's experience in South Korea and what it was like for him as a part of the NSLI-Y program, having no idea that his parents would end up moving to South Korea 2 years later. We had no idea we would end up moving to South Korea 2 years after he was here for the NSLI-Y program. And so, and then I'll see if what sort of things my daughter will share for her experience of spending the summer in Taiwan. So I hope that helps. It's a great program. I really want to make sure that I share it with as many people as possible, because I know a lot of us midlifers, we would love to spend some time overseas, and to be able to provide that opportunity for either your own kids or your grandkids or children that you have in your life, high schoolers between the ages of 15 and 18 who may not have otherwise had an opportunity to study abroad and study those particular languages. I know my daughter was accepted into the program. We were not in South Korea at the time. And so when she went through the application process and was accepted, everything when she was filling out that application, we didn't know we'd be in South Korea when she would be in Taiwan. And so it's really an amazing opportunity for your kids to see if they may want to study a new language, give them some intensive language study that they would never have an opportunity to do without being immersed in the culture otherwise. And who knows where it may lead them for the future. So I hope that helps. This is Dr. J, the Midlife Writer. Bye-bye.